Health to me is the absence of dependence on drugs, on modalities, the absence of restrictions in how I want to live my life, and vitality, being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. My name is Brennan Mackey, and I'm an attorney. When I met Susanne, she introduced me to what she does with the oils, and she brought a smorgasbord of them over and kind of introduced me to some of them and what they did. I'm in awe. I mean, I think I've told this to her many times. I hope I have, but I mean, so just pride in watching someone who just is not letting life catch up to them. They're staying a step ahead. They're amazingly active, and the fact that she's running road races is just, to me, astonishing. I can't keep up with her, so yeah, kudos. I found a lot of utility with some of the things that she's given me. One of the most effective for me is On Guard, which a lot of my friends have also raved about, where I've been able to kind of head off a common cold on day one by taking On Guard. I try to stay off prescription medication. I've been very lucky with that. I don't have any chronic health conditions. I'm very physically active. I do a lot of CrossFit, but I think regardless of what you do, if you staying active, staying mobile, stretching, and trying different things is real key to kind of maintaining your vitality. I think everybody needs to do what they think is best for them and for their families. But I do, throw it out there, when, especially in my exercise community, when somebody has a muscle issue or a pain issue, I usually throw it out there as an alternative because it's so minimally invasive that it's not going to get an epidural, it's not going to get a cortisone injection. It's, listen, you can apply this topically and it might help fix the problem. Some of the things that I've learned through experimenting and using essential oils is that there's lots of different ways to attack a problem, and it's not always a pharmacological solution. I found that a lot of these things work in much more natural ways, and they frankly work better. So for me, that's been a real eye-opening experience. You don't rush to the medicine cabinet necessarily. You take a step back and say, wait a minute, I have an oil that can do this. Let me use that instead, because frankly, it's going to be better for me. Frankincense has been great for me for muscle aches and pains when I overdo something or tweak something. And the Digest Zen has also been a really cool addition. I don't normally have stomach issues, but every once in a while you go out and have a new food or a dinner that you don't normally have, and you come home and you don't feel quite right, and that just sets you right within a matter of minutes. Since I was a kid, I've had asthma. That started off as bad enough that I was in the hospital with asthma as a kid, but then now it's just become like exercise induced and allergy induced. But with like Breathe, I'm able to put that on at night and not need to take a puff on the inhaler before I go to bed. And so that's been a change for the positive. So I wouldn't say I've discontinued any drugs that I was on, but I've definitely knocked them down in terms of the volume of usage. Recently, so we had gone out for a dinner, and I usually eat very lean, very healthy, but you go out to these dinners and you have, restaurant food and whatever. And so we had a great time, but on the way back to the house, I was like, boy, that was really too much. It was really heavy. And my stomach was just not quite right. And, was getting ready to go to bed, and I was kind of dreading the fact I was going to be up all night with kind of a stomach upset. So I took about 5 drops of Digest Zen in a glass of water, and about 5 minutes later, I was fine. And so I relayed that to my wife, who's kind of an oil skeptic, and she was like, wow. And so now she's trying it. Then once I started using them, to me, it's almost an empiric formula where I'm going to try something, I'm going to see what it does. I might try it several times to see what it does, but I'm not going to keep trying it if it doesn't work. And so with me, the proof really was in the pudding, like actually trying these things out. I strained a muscle doing a workout. I go home, I find the oil, I put it on. An hour later, it feels better. Or I feel a cold coming on, I use the On Guard. The next morning, I wake up fine. That happens enough where you're like, that's really a solution that I want to have as part of my arsenal.